It's a feeling that you want medium rare. It's an on-time arrival, day or night. It's the jet you get on every flight. Welcome to the world of Trans World Airlines.
Welcome to the world of Trans World Airlines. It's San Francisco and LA, London, Athens, every day.
Nobody else flies the USA, and as far as Hong Kong and Bombay, nobody does it like TWA. Welcome to the world of Trans World Airlines. It's baggage that beats you off your jet. It's the finest service you can get. It's an easier trip from the moment you call on the one big airline that does it all. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world of Trans World
Airlines. From theme song to plain talk, bon voyage, and welcome to the world of Trans World Airlines.
A dream come true for us, Jack and Betty Taylor, on our way around the world. First stop, London, and the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace.
Then, the trooping of the colors in honor of the Queen's birthday. What a beautiful woman. Here, British pageantry.
But every day isn't a holiday, even in merry old England. So off we go to see the sights, starting with Piccadilly Circus, London's Times Square.
No, this isn't London Bridge. It's the Tower Bridge. Nearby is the Tower of London. Here we are bid welcome by a colorful beefeater, right out of a history book.
A few miles up the River Thames, Windsor Castle, residence of English kings and queens going back to Henry VIII. Then to a place we just had to see, Stratford-on-Avon, as everybody knows, hometown of the world's greatest writer, William Shakespeare.
You don't have to be Irish to enjoy Ireland. So, it's on from Dublin town to Tipperary and the Rock of Cashel. Then to County Cork and Blarney Castle. You kiss the famed Blarney Stone, and in return, so legend says, you receive the Irish gift of gab. Do you have to be told where we are now? Bonnie Scotland, wonderful land of bagpipes and the Highland fling.
Attention all you golfers, here's where it all began, at St. Andrews. This is the great castle once called home by the ancient Scottish kings. Changing the guard Scotch style, which means kilts and tartans in step with the swirl of pipes. We're on our way to the continent and the Republic of Germany. to the River Rhine and a wonderful boat trip that takes us past castles and villages right out of history books.
And fairy tales, too, by the Brothers Grimm. Remember?
I sure do. Like this fort I read about as a kid, where robber barons collected tributes from passing ships and murdered anybody who gave them an argument about it.
Look, there's the Rock of the Lorelei, where those wicked sirens lured bedazzled sailors to their doom.
That's right, but what a way to go.
Next stop, as if you didn't know at a glance, is Switzerland.
Trans World Airlines. Welcome to the world of Trans World Airlines.
Our last fond look at Switzerland. Then airborne again and headed for one of the destinations of my dreams, Paris. Paris is all things to all men.
And all women, too.
To some, it's the famous buildings. But to us, it's the sidewalk cafes. It's these book-stalls along the Seine. This is our Paris.
But Paris to everyone is the food and wine. French style. They say you can't get a bad meal in Paris. Now, speaking for ourselves, we found it to be absolutely true.
No matter what else you do in Paris, be sure to take this side trip on the Seine, floating through a mixture of ancient history and modern pleasure. Look up ahead, a landmark as familiar to us as our own Statue of Liberty. The Eiffel Tower, of course, symbol of Paris.
This must be one of the world's most dramatic landmarks. Our welcome to Portugal.
And one of the great bridges of modern times, across the Tagus River to the city of Lisbon. In Portuguese, you say Praça do Rocio, meaning Rocio Square. Notice the unusual mosaic pavement, an ocean wave design we've never seen before.
And that goes for this elevator, built by Gustave Eiffel, who also built the tower in Paris.
On the Tagus, a magnificent memorial to Prince Henry the Navigator. And nearby, the Tower of Belém.
We've come to the famous shrine of Our Lady of the Rosary at Fatima. As sympathetic onlookers, we join the thousands of pilgrims who come here every year to pay homage to the Virgin Mary, who appeared in a vision to 3 Portuguese children about 50 years ago. Some come here for spiritual redemption, others to be healed of their bodily afflictions.
You may not believe this. No matter what you think, this is, well, a kind of bullfighting, Portuguese style.
Our first castle in Spain, and for real. Spain is full of castles, and in fact, The name Castile, the part of Spain where we are now, means castle. Also in the province of Castile, Toledo, home of the artist El Greco. Then on to Seville, and lucky we were to arrive in time for what turned out to be the annual Feria, or Festival of Seville. Very colorful.
If you guessed this to be Madrid, you're right. #1 city of Spain. Madrid is full of things to do and places to see. Far too much to include in one film. Don Quixote, of course. The pixelated Knight of La Mancha and his squire and good friend Sancho Panza, symbol of old Spain against the background of 20th century Madrid.
Now here's something much to my personal taste. Real, genuine flamenco.
Muy español, as we say in Spanish. We hated to leave Portugal, a real highlight of any world tour. Sunny Italy. They showed a first-run movie en route to pass the time. Do you suppose there's anybody who doesn't know that this is a canal in Venice? And the same almost goes for Piazza San Marco. Another well-known Italian landmark, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
And then we're here, in the city of fountains, in the city of dreams come true, in the city built on those 7 hills, the city to which all roads lead. In a word, Rome. Here at Trevi Fountain, Jack and I follow the legend. If you toss a coin over your shoulder, you're sure to come back someday.
Which would suit me just fine. To me, Rome is history. The ancient Forum, the Colosseum, where gladiators fought to the death, and early Christians were thrown to hungry lions to make sport for Roman citizens.
Then the spiritual side of Rome, across the Tiber to Vatican City. St. Peter's, largest church in the world.
On our way again. Take off from Rome's Fiumicino Airport. Airborne on our way to the Near East. From classical Rome in Italy to contemporary Tel Aviv in Israel. Tel Aviv is a young, dynamic city built by Jews for Jews. Not biblical at all, but strictly up to date. We're now in Jerusalem, holy city to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Then the town of Nazareth, where we walk today, Jesus walked as a boy. But time has pushed Nazareth into the 20th century.
And yet it's still the Holy Land, as here on the banks of the River Jordan.
And the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus performed the miracle recounted in the New Testament.
We visited Cana, where occurred the miracle of water to wine, and the Dead Sea, heavy with salt. You can't sink in it.
South through Israel's Negev desert to the Gulf of Aqaba, seaside playground for Israelis and visitors.
Our next stop, Greece. First, a look at modern Athens, but still in classical design. Once the residence of the king, this building is today the Greek House of Parliament. These are the famous air zones. The Corinth Canal, separating the mainland from what was once Imperial Sparta. Ancient Delphi, city of oracles and holiest place in the Greece of gods and goddesses.
As a kind of special holiday, we took a cruise to some of the Greek islands. It turned out to be one of the most fascinating side trips of our entire world tour. A mixture of contemporary folkways and relics of Greek antiquity.
And then, the climax of our Grecian Odyssey, the Acropolis in Athens. We approach its crowning glory in awe, the Parthenon, temple of Athena, goddess of wisdom.
Flight south now across the Mediterranean. The river is the Nile. The city is Cairo. The country, of course, is Egypt, our gateway to the exotic world of the pharaohs. What we see first is modern Egypt, with some Arabs in native dress to remind us that Cairo is a city that's more than 1,000 years old, in spite of these 20th century streets and buildings. The Suez Canal, bigger than the Panama Canal, and a marvel of engineering maintenance.
And here, of course, is the main reason we came to Egypt. Out in the desert, and yet only a short distance from Cairo, the pyramids and the Sphinx. We begin to feel withdrawn from the modern world. A strange mystic mood comes over us as we stare up at that face, symbol of Egyptian antiquity.
We continue our aerial odyssey eastward, across the Red Sea, Saudi Arabia, and the Indian Ocean, to the great subcontinent of India. India, Bombay. The names alone are exciting. We can hardly wait to get started on our tour throughout this vast country. We're at the temple caves of Ellora, carved out of solid rock. A pattern of sculpture and architecture created in bygone ages by holy men who once worshipped here.
We traveled north to Jaipur, known as the Pink City. If ever a place exemplified the mixture of ancient and modern, side by side, Jaipur is it. I won't try to describe the exotic atmosphere. A glance in any direction shows it. For instance, the facade on the building known as the Palace of the Winds. Fascinating. Talk about exotic atmosphere. How do you like this? An elephant for hire, complete with howdah.
Anyone who can't recognize this doesn't deserve to be told.
But I'm telling anyway, while I get a picture of it for my album. It's the Taj Mahal.
Our next stop is Delhi, capital of modern India, but with roots deep in ancient India. We traverse this wide thoroughfare on our way to the impressive government buildings built by the British before India became independent. We happen along on a very special occasion, Republic Day, a great national holiday, like Bastille Day in France, like America's 4th of July.
This is just about the most unusual parade I've ever seen. The word for it is exotic.
Another word is spectacular, which is putting it mildly.
The last time you had your tea, it may have come from here. The island of Ceylon, off the south coast of India. Here's another product of Ceylon. Two products, in fact. First, timber. Second, the elephant. We learned that the mahout is more than the elephant's keeper. He's a friend, a good friend, judging by the time and tender care he lavishes, bathing and cooling this recumbent jumbo.
We're airborne again, entertained in flight by wonderful stereo sound. Destination, Thailand, arriving at the airport of its major city, Bangkok. First, the more westernized part of Bangkok. It's the capital of Thailand, which used to be Siam, and a treasure house of Siamese art and architecture, as well as center of the tourist industry.
Now, for a look at Oriental Bangkok, the grand palace of the former kings of Siam. Then, the Buddhist temples. Thailand's traditional entertainment is a combination of music, drama, and dance. This is an enchanting example.
Picture taking is a favorite pastime. In most temples, it's considered polite to take your shoes off before entering, which we always did, of course. Bangkok called the Venice of Asia, and we soon found out why. It's full of canals. This is the commercial side of life on the Klong. There's also a domestic side, with many families living out their entire lives on the canal.
I'm not much for scenery, but looking at the Temple of Dawn, well, what do you think?
Flight northeast to the British Crown colony of Hong Kong. Without a doubt, the #1 place to visit in the Orient. Hong Kong is made up of Kowloon on the mainland, the New Territories, and the island of Hong Kong. You cross from Kowloon to Victoria by the Star Ferry. As we mingle with our fellow pedestrians, we can't help but notice the variety of races and nationalities, how well dressed they are. This is Victoria, chief city of the island of Hong Kong. We find it to be one of the most cosmopolitan places in the world, as sophisticated as London or Paris.
One of the highlights of Hong Kong is the fun and excitement of shopping. Hong Kong's main reason for existence, as far as I'm concerned. For millions of women, Hong Kong is the world's biggest bargain bazaar.
And that goes double for us men. They make clothes here in a real hurry. And now for the tourist highlights of the Crown Colony. Starting at the waterfront, then moving into parts of Hong Kong that are almost pure Chinese.
This is the heart and soul of the Orient, the way it really is. Not in books and movies, but in living, breathing, day-to-day existence. The careful bargaining for food in the open marketplace. The family at mealtime. Very much Chinese style. Each member of the family in complete concentration, including the small fry.
another aspect of life in Hong Kong, a real Chinese opera. They call this the tram. Actually a cable car up the steep slope known as the Peak, where we go for a panoramic view of the Crown Colony of Hong Kong, Kowloon, and beyond to the new territories.
The new territories, leased from China until 1997, supply much of the foodstuffs for the heavily populated Crown Colony. And there, across the river, which is the border with British Hong Kong, is the Colossus of Asia, Red China.
Betty and I have come to the end of our world tour. From here it's homebound, back to the USA. What a time we've had.
The things we've done and seen. My word for it is fantastic.
My word is fabulous. Certainly, this has been the great experience of our lives.
For we can fly,